Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite tanking team in the Bay Area. On today's episode, we're going to break down the Sharks' 4-2 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, why Timo, Meier, and Tomas Hertl are so close to just breaking down the door and scoring a ton of goals, and Logan Couture. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And if you're watching, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And before we get going, I'm playing a little hurt right now, doing migraines all day. So I'm going to try to bring it, my Jordan-esque flu game here. But yes, power through a lot of naps today, trying to beat down this migraine, but it's winning right now. So let's start with kind of the big takeaways from this game. And I know the Sharks lost 4-2, and it was kind of a weird script where what we've seen with the other kind of Sharks games where they come out strong, especially in the first period. Then the wheels come off in the second period, and it was very much a much different story from the Sharks, where they were the better period in the second team in this game. So, looking at the shot totals, shot attempts, shot totals. So 6-14 at 5-on-5. Actually, I'll even do all situations right now because there's only three power plays in the whole game, but 6-14 in favor of Vegas in the first period. But then the second period, the Sharks really turned it around, and it was 16-7. And they were the much better team in that second period. But then the third period, it was 9-10 in favor of Vegas. And I know the Sharks had the puck at the end with the goalie pulled for the last 4 minutes and made it a much closer period. But that beginning of the third period, Vegas just completely dominated that third period and scored 3 goals to take the win. But this team, they struggle to play consecutive good periods, let alone full 3 periods here. So, and I thought this would be a game where the Sharks could, especially in that first period, Vegas coming off, traveling, second night of a back-to-back, and they were the better team in the first period, and it really set the tempo and set the pace, and the Sharks really couldn't keep up with it. And we saw that Phil Kessel, goal where it was a great play by Phil Kessel to find the space and get past Matt Benning, but just kind of exemplified the Sharks' first period where they just really could not get into the flow of the game until near, there's a little bit in the middle, but for the most part, they just couldn't really get into the game. And, good for them to find that gear in the second period. Timo, Meier, and Tomas Hertl, we'll talk about a little bit, but those guys were leading the way of just being physical, and just trying to get as many shots on net as possible, especially with Adin Hill, who we saw tonight with that glove hand. If you can get it high on him, it's not the fastest glove in the world, but again, this team, they don't have the horses right now to really play with these top teams like Vegas, and whereas we're going to see here playing against, they played Tampa this week, and they play a murderer's row of good teams right now. So, but yeah, you had to take advantage, especially of a team that's coming off a back-to-back, and they just weren't able to. So, let's get into Tomas Hertl and Timo Meier, because that Hertl line was an absolute monster tonight. They're so close to breaking down the door and just scoring like a ton of goals. They played at 5-on-5. That line played nearly 13 minutes. They had 27 shot attempts compared to 13. Actual shots on goal was 12-9, but man, they were just anytime they could, they were getting a shot, trying to shoot. Expected goals. That line had an expected goal of 1. They should have scored a goal tonight. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. They didn't. They had 6 high danger chances. The rest of the team, the rest of the 4 lines had 2 combined. It's this. They're so close to breaking in the door and just scoring a bunch of goals. And Quinn put them in a position to succeed tonight. 9 offensive zone starts for these guys, and they were everywhere, and they were causing chaos. And Timo Meier had an open net that got, the puck just got blocked at the last second, and a ton of chances. And I know it's so frustrating. It's got to be so frustrating for these guys that they can't score. They're going to come. The goals are going to come at this. They're so overdue. It's insane how they just have not been able to hit the back of the net yet. I get like that line, 27 shot attempts is pretty insane. There's been games where the Sharks have had like 30 shot attempts in the entire game, and that line put up 27 tonight. Just an absolute ridiculous offensive display. And I know they didn't score, and there was the play that the broadcast kind of blamed Timo Meier for, where he took a shot and then it rimmed around, kind of set up the breakaway, and Karlsson made a risky play that he probably would like to redo. But it's sorry. Okay. Against the Hurricanes, I was looking it up. The Sharks had 20 shot attempts at 5-on-5 in the entire game. So, oh my goodness. Sorry. But that's a play that Erik Karlsson, would probably rather be a little, instead of being so aggressive there with the poke check, he'd probably would rather have been, a little bit more defensive and try to kind of slow down the rush there, or try to play the rush instead of try to stop the rush in 1 second. But if he had made the poke check, it would, it was a dangerous play. If he had made it, we would have been like, wow, Erik Karlsson's a genius. And since he didn't make the play, we're like, wow, Erik Karlsson's an idiot. But that's pretty much how it is. So yeah, Timo Meier and Erik Karlsson, Timo Meier and Logan Couture, Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl, the Barabanov line was eating tonight, and that's a great line. And the Jack Eichel, Mark Stone line, like those guys were eating tonight, and it's shocking that they have not been rewarded for their good work. So it's going to, hopefully it comes on Saturday, and we get I want to see a Timo Meier hat trick. That'd be great. But before we continue, let's take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at Bet Online. You guys know Bet Online is your number one source for betting football, and now with the start of basketball season, they have you covered. You can find all the latest player developments, team matchups, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, Bet Online remains your continuous source for your sports wager information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. So they're the fastest and easiest way to check on your favorite games. You've got the World Series now. You have MMA, boxing. I guess golf is still going on. I'm sure there's probably a tournament somewhere in golf. You've got SHL you can bet on. They've got you covered with everything. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet Online, where the game starts. And once you've finished listening to Locked On Sharks, again, thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen today. For your second listen, go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. So they've got from the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports. Go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. So Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. Guys, we might have to have a conversation about Logan Couture. His line has been constantly outplayed. And I know Logan Couture gets Logan Couture some help. He hasn't had great wingers and stuff, but it's getting bad. And I know tonight, so he played with Gregor and Cunnin. They played almost 10 and a half minutes of 5-on-5, 6 shot attempts for 16 shot attempts allowed. 5 to 7 went actual shots on goal, and they did give up that goal, the Mark Stone goal, where Logan Couture kind of just runs into Mark Stone as he's going to the net, and Mark Stone, like, not the greatest effort from Logan Couture there, but he had 3. So that line had 3 offensive zone faceoffs, 5 neutral zone, and 3 defensive zones. So Couture has not played well this season, and I know they don't really have anybody who can. Well, they have somebody down in the Barracuda who could probably play a 2C role right now, but they don't have anybody else who's on the Sharks right now who could play a 2C role. But I don't know what to do with him, because I mean, the Hertl line has been awesome, right? And it's bad puck luck that they have not been able to score goals at this point. But like that Couture line, they're just constantly every night just getting outshot and outchanced, and I know the Sharks the Sharks do have some quality wingers in the AHL, and William Eklund type of situation, but I don't know what to do, because I mean, Luke Cunning's probably more like that's the problem with the construction of this team, right? Is they have a bunch of third and fourth line guys, and the third line right now of Nico Sturm, Svechnikov, and that line has been great. I mean, they got outshot tonight for the most part, but that line has been working really well together. And that Nico Sturm is leading this team in goals, which is probably why this team is 2-7. But Logan Couture, who you're expecting to be a big contributor, again, I know the Hertl line, that line scored 1 goal all year, but you can see it, right? That line was the Sharks' best line tonight, and they deserve to have at least a goal. Like the Couture line, they just get hemmed in their own zone constantly. Even when they start positive, they're getting hemmed in their own zone, and Couture just doesn't look like the same guy. And I don't know if it's the injuries catching up or if it's the who he's playing with. But again, there's no answers for the question, right? Of trying to get him. You could split up the Hertl Meier line, but then you're kind of, instead of being a 1-line team, then you're a no-line team, right? And I don't know if Couture playing with Meier is going to be the question, is going to solve that. And we saw that for a game, and there was too much happening in that game. So yeah, I think Couture should be more of a very much overpaid 3C role, on a good team. If he's your 3C, you're probably feeling really good about yourself. But at this stage, I don't know what to do with Logan Couture. It's getting bad where they're not even scoring or producing offense and most nights that line is getting outplayed. So, well, something with the track. I want to see when we get to the Bordelot Eklund phase of the Sharks, how it was last year, where Bordelot is getting all those primo offensive starts, and then Couture is basically playing a third line center role, even if they're lined up even if Couture is the 2C. I want to see how it actually stacks out with the zone starts. So, yeah, it was a little tough there, and then, yeah, I mean, really quick before we get into kind of my final thoughts and of the game and where the Sharks are heading. Shout out to Phil Kessel, fan favorite of Locked On Sharks. I mean, I know he's basically been a shark killer for his entire career. I mean, when in the bubble season when he was on Arizona, I think he scored like 10 goals that year on the Sharks. But just everything he's gone through, having testicular cancer as a rookie and coming back from that and not missing a game since 2009, like hats off to him. Congrats on scoring your 400th goal tonight. Like just perfect, nice little kind of everything all together. And yeah, Phil Kessel's awesome. Go what's his name? Greg Wyshevsky or whatever from ESPN had a pretty awesome article on him and kind of all the little stories and stuff like that. Go check that out if you don't really know too much about Phil Kessel. But yeah, Phil Kessel is awesome. Congrats to him on setting the Iron Man record and congrats on the 400 goals. Like, not easy to do. Again, I mean, who doesn't, who shows up to work every day like that and just, the sheer luck and, the ability to stay healthy and play through injuries and show up to the rink. And nobody has more fun than Phil Kessel when he's out there and just the kind of, his whole attitude and nature about it. And it's like, I just want to play and have fun and, enjoy some hot dogs and just, pokes fun at himself. And yeah, Kessel's great guy for hockey. And I'm just happy for Phil Kessel and his, setting the record again, like I talked about yesterday, having the nice, like Marlowe setting the games played record at Vegas. And then now Phil Kessel setting the Iron Man streak in San Jose. Nice little marriage there. Nice little full circle moment. But yeah, congrats to Phil Kessel. Before we continue, let's take a quick break. Let you guys know about Simply Safe. If you want to protect your house and your loved ones, Simply Safe is the way to go. The numbers don't lie. In the last decade, over 4 million people have chosen Simply Safe home security to protect their home. You don't earn that trust of that many people without doing something right. At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. And the great thing about it is they have 24/7 professional monitoring agents who can always have your back. Like, it's great because what if, you're out on the weekend you're at a Sharks game, someone breaks in, they have high definition cameras for security, for inside or outside your home, smarter ways to detect motion. So like if you're out and a squirrel runs in the backyard, they're not just going to call you for that, right? They're going to let you know when it's an actual real threat. And if they can't get a hold of you, guess what? They're going to use proprietary advanced response technology to visually confirm when a break-in is real and get the highest priority police dispatch that they can. So they can't get a hold of you, they're going to send someone out to make sure that your house is safe. So customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/lockedonnhl. Save 20% on your Simply Safe security system when you sign up for interactive monitoring plan. Get your first month free. So visit simplysafe.com/lockedonnhl to learn more. There's no safe like Simply Safe. All right. Other fun news and notes kind of from this game. Why is Erik Karlsson playing almost a 5-minute shift to end the game? I know he is your only offensive defenseman on the team, but Erik Karlsson has not played more than like 60 games ever for the Sharks in a season, right? And I know the bubble year where he played the majority of the games in that shortened season, I think he played like 50 or 52 out of the 56 or whatever. But why? I get you're down 2, you got the goalies, you're trying to score a game there, or you're trying to score a goal, but like, can we get him off the ice for like a little bit? If you want to do like a 2-minute shift or a 1.5-minute shift and get him off, let him get a breather. Like that is how guys get hurt. Unless you're Brent Burns and you're a freaking machine. Why is Erik Karlsson out there for like 5 minutes straight? It was insane to me that he was out there for that long. Like that's how guys get hurt, especially a guy like Erik Karlsson. The game was over. You're down 2 goals. Like if you were down 1, I can maybe see, but you're down 2 goals there. And I will say I do like the aggressiveness with Quinn with pulling the goalie. 4 minutes left. Why does it matter if you lose 5-2 or 4-2 at that point, right? Pulling the goalie there, awesome. I love it. I love the aggressiveness there. Let's try to score a couple. If you could score a goal quickly, and then you kind of, then you have a scramble mode type of situation in the last couple minutes where you're down by one type of thing, where you can kind of hopefully get a scramble mode type goal. But being down 2 and playing Erik Karlsson for almost 5 minutes, again, Erik Karlsson, who's had multiple surgeries. You've had the groin, the broken thumb. Last year, you had the forearm. Like, this is how guys get hurt. And I'm going to be really sad when Erik Karlsson gets hurt and it comes back to something like this where he plays a 5-minute shift. And again, I know your other options are Matt Benning, Mario Ferraro, Mark-Edward Vlasic, Radim Šimić, and Jacob Megna. Those are your other options. It's poor team construction. Very aware of this, but Mario Ferraro runs your second power play, and you can't let Ferraro play for like 30, 45 seconds while Karlsson gets a nice rest there. Just break it up for a little bit. Let the man sit down. I was shocked on that. So, other good things. The eye of the Sturm, Nico Sturm, leading the team in goals with 4 goals. Nico Sturm has been a steal at this point for when they signed him. He's been great for the team. Has done all the little dirty work and is being rewarded for his goals. And yeah, Nico Sturm has been awesome. And I'm glad that he is doing well, and I'm really glad that line there is, if it's LeBanc, Sturm, and Svechnikov, that line's been awesome together. And with that third line, basically, if you can get some secondary scoring, which they have gotten secondary scoring from that line, and you're not getting totally destroyed when it comes like the shot attempts and stuff like that, that's all you can ask for, right? And again, so that line, 7 shot attempts, 10 shot attempts allowed. Okay, you can live with that. Actual shots and goal was 3-4. They scored a goal and they gave up a goal. Okay, but again, like that, this line was getting most of the defensive zone. They had 3 offensive zone, 2 neutral zone, and 5 defensive zones. So mainly kind of defensive zone start. So if they took advantage of the offensive zone start that they got by scoring a goal and they gave up a goal, okay, that's what more can you ask for them? So yeah. James Reimer continues to die for our sins tonight. So all situations, he got pulled again for the last 4 minutes. 27 saves on 31 shots. Expected goals against was 2.46, and he gave up 4 goals. But the breakaway on the William Karlsson, Matt Benning gets turnstile by Phil Kessel. He probably should have had the third goal where it looked like he stopped it and it squeaked out, and there was just a bunch of traffic there. If he is able to ice the puck there, that goal doesn't happen by Shea Theodore. And then the last goal where Logan Couture is just kind of leaning on Mark Stone as Mark Stone's, is able to redirect the pass in the crease. Like, if Logan Couture actually bodies up Mark Stone there, Mark Stone's not scoring that goal. So I give it one of them. He really, really should have had, if he was able to stop that puck or not let up a rebound there, he would have. Shea Theodore wouldn't have scored that goal. So 7 high danger saves on 8 high danger shots against. 11 medium danger saves on 14 medium danger shots, and 8 for 8 on the low danger saves. So Aiden Hill, I just kind of want to see how. So he pretty similar, 9 high danger shots against, and he saved 8 of them. 8 medium danger, 7 saves, and then 11 for 11 on the low dangers. So that's weird, the rush, because I guess the Matt Nieto one, I guess that was a breakaway, not a rush. But anyway, yeah, I was a little surprised with the Sharks game plan of not trying to test this team early, especially coming off a back-to-back, and trying to get as many shots on Adin Hill as possible. But yeah, so some positives from this game. The Hertl Meier line, like they can't keep getting snake bit at this point. Like they're so overdue. Timo Meier had 7 shots on goal tonight, and I think they said he took like how many actual shots did he? It was some ridiculous amount of actual shots attempts. So yeah, he was a freaking monster tonight, and he's going to get scored at some point. So right, he can right, please, maybe. Individual Corsi for 18 shot attempts. That's insane. Yeah, 8 individual Corsi for 18 shot attempt, individual scoring chances for 9. Like, it's insane that Timo Meier has not scored at this point. So, but yeah, that line's coming. They're statistically they're going to score at some point. The regression to the mean says that they're going to start scoring here soon. So, we got to worry about the Couture line. I know Bonino didn't play tonight, but like, you wonder how long, with how well Bordelot is playing in the AHL, how long until David Quinn has to realize that this second line isn't cutting it right now. And this team who's only scored more than 3 goals. They haven't scored more than 3 goals. They've only scored 3 goals in a game twice. When are you going to start to have to become a little bit more desperate for goals? And if you have a guy who's scoring goals, you're going to have to try to do something there. So, and James Reimer continued to die for our sins. So I assume Capo Kakinen will probably play on Thursday, and then we'll kind of see who plays on Saturday against Tampa. But yeah, so that's going to do it for me tonight. Make sure you guys go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Go check out the Locked On NHL podcast. There's a bunch of amazing podcasts at the Locked On Network. Locked On Fantasy. There's a Locked On Bay Area one that's got you covered for everything Bay Area. I'm sure they're going to have some interesting stuff with Klay Thompson getting ejected there. So yeah, go check out one of the other amazing podcasts on Locked On. Of course, you can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Go check it out there. Clips during, so especially for tonight's game against the Barracuda, going to have clips for that. So if you're not able to watch, at least you'll be able to see the highlights. So go check that out. And then go check out, you can listen, of course, wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, all those places. Watch on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. And be back tomorrow to get you guys ready for the next game. And until then, bye, friends.